So we're going to talk a little bit about machine learning and AI as it pertains to management of data. Just to give you a little background, Cantemo is a company. I'm from Cantemo. And we're really working on kind of the idea of democratizing media management, meaning that traditionally media management systems have been relatively complex and required a lot of kind of back-end IT knowledge, technical knowledge, or production knowledge to use appropriately. And we've been working on and have released a product that really makes it a lot easier for professionals to collaborate outside of just the production workflow and interact with maybe non-technical but more story writing and creative users. So, video today, we're connecting with audiences, we're influencing behaviors, we're sharing stories. So video has gotten so big, and I can even see we've got people taking video on their phones right now. It's being created everywhere, constantly, all around you. How many people have shot a video and posted it to a social media sometime this week? Probably everybody that's sitting out here. So when we start to talk about that, we start to talk about how important it is now to the social construct, and that video itself is being used constantly to interact with everyone else around you. And because of that, we are really focused on how do we take all of that content and organize it, if it's content that we've created, and be able to repurpose that messaging, be able to find what we did before, and be able to share it to a wider audience potentially. So when we talk about machine learning, you've heard Elon Musk talk about, the end of the world coming and Skynet and the Terminator. That's not quite where we are right now with machine learning. Machine learning still requires a human being to train the system. And slowly over time, the machine learning and artificial intelligence gets smarter and smarter, but what AI does is help us solve problems today that used to be very painful. So with traditional MAM systems or media management systems or broadcast systems, metadata became a very big part of how organizational structures worked, how automations work, that sort of thing. But a lot of that metadata had to be manually input for the actual content to work. And now we're able to send some of this media into machine learning algorithms from a variety of different manufacturers and get back different results without somebody, a human being, actually having to sit behind a computer or a video screen, watch that actual video, and decide what was actually in it. So we're reducing the complexity of managing that video by taking out a very massive step, which was how do we actually find stuff without somebody telling us what it is in the first place? How do we take the human being out of that piece? Because that was a very painful part of the puzzle. Many customers and manufacturers, users across the world that have used media management systems end up not actually fully utilizing them because of the pain involved and the time it takes to put in some of this critical metadata. So using AI to kind of reduce that complexity, to take down the volume of human time it takes to make your library searchable, can really add to the value of your library. There's a lot of video libraries out there from traditional and old times, film libraries, tape libraries that are sitting on a shelf, and there's no more information about them than maybe a logbook or an Excel sheet, and there's no information about what's actually in the content of those video clips. Now we have the ability to go into all those video clips, automatically find out, hey, was there a BMW in that clip? Hey, BMW is a customer of mine. Maybe they might want to see the clip that I shot 10 years ago that's in my video library. Another thing is monetizing those libraries. So if you have a very large library of content and you don't know what's in that library of content other than what's in your memory or whoever shot its memory that maybe doesn't even work at your organization anymore, it's more or less worthless to you. But if you actually have a way to go in and recover a lot of that information without the tedious work of having some human being sit there and watch every single video and tag it, you have a way of taking that content and reutilizing it again in future projects. And anything you don't have to shoot a second time saves you money, and anything you can sell a second time produces money for you. So it's a way for, as a video content producer, you can grow your reach into the world. So another thing is we have image analytics tools, and when we're looking into these systems, we can start to see what's happening in each frame. So not just understanding and delivering that back to you as a human being in forms of metadata, keywords, and tags, but actually understanding that there's a sign here or there's an animal there, and then potentially taking automated actions. So we're taking this a step further. We notice that there is a cat in the picture, and we know that cats sell very well to a certain demographic of our customers. So when that new clip comes into our stock footage library, we automatically distribute it to a specific user base based on the content that is in that frame, not necessarily just for recovery and retention, but for automation as well. We're able to detect a lot of things within the media. Labels, explicit content, logos, landmarks, all sorts of stuff. So as we dive into this more and more, and as you attach logic to that recognition, you can really make powerful workflows out of these systems without as much effort as it would have taken in the past, which is, again, a human being sitting in front of a screen and making a choice on something. So another thing is when you get into privatized libraries. So we can talk about general things like I shot a picture or a video and there was a car in that video and the AI says, yes, this is a car. But if you're in a corporate space, you can start to get into custom trained AI to teach it things that are not necessarily available to the world at large. Things like your specific part numbers for your products on the content that you are shooting. So in the case of this right here, is this a white sneaker, which pretty much every machine learning algorithm from Google, Amazon, IBM, you name it, would pick out. But how many of them are going to know, because it's a pre-released footage that's never made it out to the wild, that it's a Nike Air Zoom Pegasus 34 ID? None of them will. So taking custom trained machine learning and AI into effect, you can now start to actually add content and add information to the systems before it even makes it out into the wild to use the crowdsourcing capabilities of larger machine learning algorithms. So where does it go from here? What's the next steps in this kind of crazy world of the computers taking over? Some of it is actually based around automated content creation for field production. So when we look at large live events or things along those lines, if we are detecting in real time events that are happening throughout the live event, we could potentially deliver our producers the most relevant clips into their clip servers in real time. So that they're right up at the top. Think of the who here has Netflix or Amazon Prime? Probably everybody, right? And when you log into that, it says what you should probably watch. It gives you suggestions and recommendations. But if you get a machine learning algorithm working in real time, specifically in the workspace that you're working in the future we'll be able to start delivering information to you very quickly that would have taken time, even with good metadata and searching, for a human being to do. And as you train that and tune it even better, you're going to get better and better results to whatever that logic is. The other thing we can do is detect emotions. So this is a thing that's starting to come in with some of these situations. And taking a look at not only, hey, that's a person's face, but is that person happy? Are they sad? Are they confused? What's going on with the actual emotional state of the person or people that are being shot, and being able to use that not only to recover information, but then to make creative choices. So we'll take a look at these sorts of things. I believe the movie in question here, they actually used a machine learning algorithm to cut together their entire trailer based on a producer making selections about the mood of the trailer and then going through the raw footage and tying together all of the different rough cuts. So the trailer was produced entirely, the rough cut selection was produced entirely with machine learning through emotional response from the content. Another is personalization, right? So when we take a look at machine learning and looking at the content that is being presented and that we own and we create, we can also look at some of the kind of underlying delivery methods, with a lot of the OTT stuff going on, it's no longer a one-way street. We're getting information back at the same time from the user or the watcher of that content. And if we're getting that information back, we can make intelligent choices potentially about the advertising content that goes in front of them, the banners that go in front of them. And you're seeing some of this at a very low level right now on some of your favorite websites. But when we take this into a grander scale, we can actually look at what people have historically watched and logically insert custom-made special spots for them based on the feedback we're getting and their history watching whatever it is that we are distributing. So there's a lot of possibilities for taking this outside of just the descriptive space and using machine learning to do more than just describe things. So this one's pretty crazy. Regional mood indexes. Everybody remember Arab Spring and things that are going on there. So taking social context as a whole, putting it into machine learning, and then deriving what is actually happening in that region based on the social output that is being put out into the world as a whole, and then deriving and choosing what the best form of messaging could be based on those moods. So instead of, again, a human saying, hey, things are pretty rough over there, we probably shouldn't be showing the rougher or harsher advertising that we want to do. Instead, we can maybe say calmer things or maybe things that work well. If it's a generally happy social environment and construct, we can define the output that we are putting into that space based on the actual mood of that location. So there's a lot of crazy things we can do as we get further and further down this machine learning road. But last but not least, when we're talking about machine learning as a whole, we still have human guidance in every machine learning system. So when the machine or the computer makes a decision about something, it's going through a training algorithm right now. And every major machine learning system out there, they work via training algorithms. Now, some of the smarter ones are training each other, and they're getting smarter at downstreaming and chaining these trainings together, but somebody still has to be at the top level because the machines are not making the choices without input. They don't just go out into the world and do something. You have to train neural networks to actually respond to something because they don't without a synapse, much like our brains. So with that said, get to the product part of things. We are a manufacturer of products, and we've got a product that does some of this stuff right now. So Iconic is our new product that we launched back in December. It is a cloud-based media management system. And we really look at Iconic as the next logical generation of media management. Our brains for the system all live within the cloud itself, and we can use the cloud for internalized content discovery and also description right now with machine learning. So these are functions that are built into the system right now today. But we also use machine learning a lot with Iconic to define how we scale the back end of our system, because we actually have a scalable back end in the cloud, and we know when our customers are using more or less, and we're able to be more efficient because we're actively watching and preemptively making decisions on how to spin up more transcoders or spin down transcoders, how to associate more nodes in new regions, and these sorts of things. So the machine learning for us is something that our customers can use by simply going to a clip, clicking a button, and hitting analyze, and they get back, hey, this is a picture of a tennis racket. But we're also using it very heavily internally to decide how the system itself works behind the scenes. And over time, we're going to grow that into more and more parts of the system. So with a lot of the topics we've talked about over the last 15 minutes, those are going to start creeping into the Iconic system as time goes on, because it's a core tenet of our design philosophy, which is we should be able to take the pain out of all of these processes and leave creative people to be creative in a simple environment, as opposed to having every creative person have to be a technical mastermind to actually access their content. So with that said, if you guys would like to come see Iconic, which I'd love to have you guys come take a quick look at it, we're in Hall 7. We're in the back corner. So if you just walk across the glass hallway here and walk all the way to the back, turn left, you'll see us. So thank you very much.
Some time for questions?
Oh, yeah, Q&A if anybody would like. We've got 5 minutes, I think. Anyone? All right. Thank you.